We are so proud of you.
Hey there, Cleburne County. This is Joe Collins from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. I'll be evaluating you guys today in the area of percussion. You're coming on the field getting set up right now, so I'll be right back with you. Best of luck. All right, guys, coming on the field now. I like the intro. Clearly some well-developed pit technique, mallet technique. Make sure, guys, it looks like you've been instructed, kind of get that halftime pulse going so we're all on the same page. Just make sure everybody's doing that. When half the group does it and only a couple people don't, it makes you kind of stick out.
One thing you might want to do is as soon as you hit this front sideline, go ahead and take your hat off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cleburne County High School Band from Heflin, Alabama, Cleburne County Marching Tiger Band. Band Director Doug Baker, Principal.
Hey, right from the get-go, be careful. Snare drums, you got some spacing issues. Nothing major, but this is the first impression I'm making of you, and clearly you've been trained well. So you got to make sure you nail everything about this first. Musical and visual statement. And right now, everybody's spaced well. We got one small spacing issue in between some snare drums. So that kind of attention to detail is what's really going to take your product to the next level. All right, here we go. Okay, nice slow tempo. I like the pulse in the pit. Be careful battering when you guys are marching at a tempo this slow. It takes a lot of core strength, a lot of upper body control to make sure that you're smoothing out your movement. It doesn't look like, lots of starts and stops where your body moves and you stop suddenly and then you move again and you stop again. Make sure the goal is always to make it smooth. Careful there on that opening statement, snare drums. I didn't feel like we were all super confident on what the part was, and we kind of just ended it sort of questioningly. Okay, nice job isolating that moment there in the pit. Cymbal crash is great. Snares, make sure we all know the visual we're doing. Yep, strong rhythmic ending there with the unisons and the bass drum and the snares. Got some timing issues in the pit between the constant tambourine and the syncopated rhythms. You guys be careful, make sure you lock that in. Okay, bass drum, serious spacing issues. Make sure we know what the spacing is and where our dots are. Also make sure that we know when we're crabbing which foot's supposed to be in front of the other. That way we're consistent. Okay, right here, it seems like just a little moment for a percussion feature. Felt like it was a little empty sounding. Maybe just doing something a little extra in the way of a shaker in the pit, or some bass drum activity, just something to kind of fill that void. Because right then it seemed like just a not fully developed idea, and I didn't really know where my attention was supposed to be drawn. Careful there in your little run there, Pit. That's a cool moment for you, but you got to execute it where you know 100% that you're going to nail it every time. We don't want it to be a toss-up where we just hope that we get to the end of it and we all get there at the same time. With these kind of ethereal suspension kind of moments like we just got out of, putting something in there like some wind chimes or some cymbal scrape, stuff like that can really add to that atmosphere. Bass drum unison's contributing well here. Okay, where are we going in that moment? Are we crescendoing? Are we decrescendoing? Ooh, careful snares. That transition right there, finishing the previous phrase, going to this last little statement. A lot of unclarity, non-clarity, disclarity. I'm not sure what the word is, but just it's difficult to tell what the rhythmic ideas were there. Yeah, listen in, snares. Got some timing issues. Stay right with the major, and then the pit will adjust.
Okay, luckily we have some beats of silence.
Okay, what's going on?
For much wisdom, much grief.
Okay, right there in that space before the voiceover comes in. I don't know if that's the normal place for it, but I think definitely there's that's wanting for some percussion textures. You know, just fill that up with constant wind chimes, maybe some cymbal zings, some shaker, just something to fill that void. Because that was another moment where I kind of spent maybe 10 seconds trying to go, where am I supposed to look, or where's my ear supposed to be drawn? And obviously, if the battery's not playing, they can't really do anything about that. So we could definitely add some of that stuff in the pit with some of those smaller, textural kind of instruments.
Yeah, this sounds pretty phrasing effect.
Be careful here in the pit. Make sure we know where our phrases are going or coming from. We just got out of the bells, and I couldn't tell if the phrase is supposed to end up or down, and now we've added the other keyboard instruments, and we definitely could add some more cymbal rolls, some gong rolls, something just to generate some energy, going into the next phrase or coming out of the previous one. Yeah, right here, definitely could use plenty more cymbal right there. Just so that energy carries over into the next phrase, and we don't end a section 1 or 2 beats early, and we're thinking about the next thing before we're there. Like the heartbeat motive. Very nice ending right there in that slow section with the slow motion down and the winds, and then the pit matching that also. Okay, musically, definitely I can feel the tension. Okay, good job maintaining the tempo and the intensity here, snares. Yeah, make sure we're matching that energy there. Bass drums, snare drums, those winds are growing. You got to be growing too. We don't want to be led. We want to drive. We don't want to be a rider in the car. We want to be a driver. Cool little snare moment. Be careful on the puttitas, guys. It looks like left hands are not quite strong enough to have a really healthy diddle quality on some of those puttita figures. Yep, good job, bass drums.
All of us go onto one place. All from the dust. All turn users.
Be careful, pit. Make sure we're all interpreting time the same way.
Okay, once again,
Yeah, here in this last maybe 10 or 20 seconds, I feel like the winds are just overpowering the battery, which is something I almost never say. I think, honestly, the battery could just be a little more aggressive. Yeah, where's the crescendo? Yeah, all the way to the end there, battery. Snares and bass drums, I'm getting some pretty good volume, but snare drums especially, make sure we're driving that intensity all the way to the end of the phrase. We don't just see the ending as a place where we get to stop playing. We see the ending as a chance to have an exclamation point at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Overall, definitely you guys are on the right track in a lot of ways. I think your concept is great, and it's being mirrored in a lot of places. And since you guys are doing a lot of the basics right, that means there's a lot of room you can develop some of the more advanced stuff. Some shaping things in the pit, not just playing a whole phrase at one volume. Inside of that, smaller micro phrases, or if we're talking about the battery, making sure just really detail oriented things are happening consistently. Bass drums are using the same stickings. We know where the step offs are. We're making sure our spacing is consistent from move to move. Snare drums are locked in with each other, and then consequently with the bass drums too. And just as a parting thought, something I wanted to mention earlier, and when we got going a little sooner than I was ready for, I think something you might think about is spreading the front ensemble out just a little bit. To me it feels and looks kind of congested, like we're all pulled really close together. And you have a pretty large front ensemble, which is awesome. There's a lot of potential there, but I think we can look bigger and also maybe spread some of those sounds out, horizontally by just pulling the outside keyboards, a little farther apart. Right now they're all in about, they fit in about 10 yards. I think you could probably spread them out a little bit to where you're getting closer to the 46, 47 yard line on each side. That way I see them better. I get more of that performance aspect. They aren't so mashed together, and maybe some of the sounds and textural things might come across a little clearer. So anyway, overall great, a great concept, and you guys are certainly on the right track. So I wish you the best of luck with the rest of your season, and I hope my comments have been helpful.